Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody did have a good weekend. And Nice and relaxing and all that good stuff. So, I guess you all heard. I don't know how much people follow the news. I caught a blurb of it yesterday that, last week, flat out, Trump was saying that he was going to put 50% tariff on the EU. And of course, the market sold off because of that. And so we went down and kind of started bottoming out. And of course, over the weekend, they get on the phone. And now he's delayed that tariff until July 1st. And they've agreed to kind of quick step their process for helping things out a little bit. And if you kind of look at um, where we kind of started out last night, they kind of started selling things off until the kind of the news came out that they're going to start fast tracking everything, and of course, then the market just jumps up big time, and then it kind of tried to sell off at the open this morning, kind of correcting things back a little bit, but that didn't last very long, and they kind of continued things. So anyway, here we are. Do we tariff or do we not tariff? And do we just threaten to tariff until we get the deal done and then all that good stuff? So, and the market's going to be reacting to all of that. That's kind of what's made everything so choppy. One thing that's interesting though is the S&P here at 59.35 as you see it. And this is the S&P futures. Opened the year at 59.49. So, even though we've had this nice little push up right here, they're still not above the year open. They got above the year open. If you look here, we kind of got above it right back over in here a couple weeks ago. Then they kind of started selling things off after the Trump was, putting the thumb on Europe and everything like that. And now they're trying to make it back up and see if they can get back positive again. If they get back above 6,000, it'd probably be looking pretty good. Take out those little highs back over here and maybe we can start being a lot more positive, kind of like the Nasdaq is, and all that good stuff. So, anyway, but it's just one of those, and it's just like you uh, gold here. There we go. You still, you're still more positive than negative in gold. But it is. It's just, they shoot it up, pull it down. They shoot it up, then pull it down. We had a nice rally on Friday, and they just kind of gave it up last night. This really started when the S&P started rallying, right after the EU people started talking, which is more stabilizing, in the world economy. So less fear. Gold comes down. Actually, the dollar's gone up, and so that's one thing you're kind of battling right now. How does this affect the dollar and all that good stuff? And you're just going to kind of see that going back and forth. Another thing that Trump is threatening to do, hadn't done it yet, is put even more sanctions on Russia. If he does that, I'm not real sure. The energy markets aren't really reacting to it all that much. I figured we'd see crude oil kind of jump up a little bit, and really hasn't done much of anything. It's just kind of been kind of pulling back somewhat, a little bit today, but it's still holding above 60, 61 bucks really well. And so we just kind of are just kind of watching, just kind of see how the energy markets react. And that's another thing, when you start looking at energy in general. There's a lot of different ways of looking at energy. One, you have your crude oil on that side of things, then you have natural gas, which actually helps to make electrical power, right? Um, and Of course, we have to be able to generate that electrical power. And of course, we've been talking a lot about the uranium and getting. What was it? Microsoft is paying. What was it? 175, 125. I can't remember what it. 135 bucks per megawatt hour if they'll get 3 Mile Island back open. It was one of those things. So you're getting a lot of demand from the AI. Everybody kind of believes that, but one thing that people don't realize, the most common metal in the world is aluminum, but you got to smelt it out. You got to take rock and basically just boil the stuff and just get the aluminum out of it. And that's the biggest problem that you're running into right now. It takes a ton of power to run those aluminum smelters. And so now, when Trump's out there saying, "Hey, bring your steel plant, aluminum plant, everything over here to the U.S." Wonderful, great. But they have to start looking at long-term energy contracts from utilities in the specific state they're going into. And based off of everything right now, I mean, if they just came in and started just, building these smelters to, get the aluminum going, you're looking at probably driving up the cost of energy. And I mean, you're looking at probably somewhere north of $70 per kilowatt hour. That's going to be like 7 cents per kilowatt hour. I don't know if you all get like text messages or looking at your electric bill. It's usually in kilowatt hours on there. And if you're looking at 7 cents per kilowatt hour, if you use, I don't know, 10, 20 kilowatt hours per day, um, over a month, that could be anywhere between 20 and $40 more a month. So that's the thing. And so they're going to have to do something about getting more power. SMRs, here we go. And so what we've been seeing is that demand coming back. If you just look at the uranium ETF here, bling, jumping up here, and even Camco here, it's been jumping up as well. So, and I think either one of those, especially this one, I think on a longer term basis, I think we're going to be seeing uranium heating up big time. And I think it's probably good to be, a little bit diversified on the uranium side of things, as opposed to, just throwing stuff into, the old S&P 500, the Dow, the NASDAQ, whatever, because there's not any uranium companies in any of those indexes. So I would definitely be looking at probably getting some CCJ or URA or whatever it is, just because things have been doing so well. And I think they'll continue to do well. And I think you'll probably see CCJ probably get up to the $80 area, URA probably around the 38 to $40 area. And maybe even higher than that over the next coming years as they start getting all this power up and going. Yeah, you do have AI, but everything else takes power too. I mean, your house, the office here, everything takes power, right? All the manufacturing facilities, everything like that does take power, not just the AI people. So there's going to be a big demand, and I think uranium is the way to go on those things. So, and that was another thing I was actually talking about. Here we go. Probably investing in like, US Steel and Alcoa and stuff like that last week. Well, I noticed that Trump came out and said, hey, he doesn't have a problem with that. What is that, Nippon or whatever it's called, merging with US Steel. And of course, if you look at US Steel today, um, there, that was the Trump news saying, hey, they're going to let that go for a while. So, but that's the thing. You're gonna have to kind of watch out as companies try to buy other ones out and everything like that. And so, but you got a $10 rally in good old U.S. Steel. So, hydrogen energy, yes, I'll agree with that. In fact, as Dakota was just saying here, I mean that's what Toyota's Crown is a hydrogen car. Um, we got rid of their Avalon and put out this Crown. I hadn't seen very many of them on the road down here. But they're kind of I don't know, a cross between a Camry and a Camaro. That's kind of when I look at them, I go, oh, yeah, that looks like, a Camry and Camaro had a Crown. So they kept the C and just changed the name, right? But anyway, but yeah, that hydrogen technology is a great technology. Don't get me wrong. They need to kind of advance it a little more, get it a little more going and everything like that. But I think it is a great one as well. Absolutely. So, but really coming out of a weekend, um, it's more just who's just kind of blurbing out stuff, Trump, and making things move around a lot. So we do have some economic news. Heck, we have Nvidia earnings. What is that, tomorrow night? So that's going to be interesting. Speaking of AI, and let's kind of see how those come out. We'll see what the GDP is like. We get PCE on Friday. Durable goods um, came out this morning, and they were. I'll say better than expected. Um, Even though they were kind of negative, they were better than expected. So that's it's always a good thing to see people still out there buying refrigerators, washers, and dryers and stuff like that. But anyway, so but let's kind of see how the next couple of days goes here. See if they can sustain this rally. Watch that 59.49 on the S&P. See if they can get that thing back above the year open and maybe even take out 6,000, and then we might kind of renew this little rally here. But there's probably a lot of stuff in between there and people talking and deals being made that might let it go and might not. So, but anyway, but with that, unless you have any other questions or anything like that, we'll wrap things up and see what NVIDIA does. I'm kind of anxious to kind of see what they do. Alrighty. Well, then I'll just shimmy on out of here, and we'll see you on Thursday to kind of see where things are, what other news have come about.